Hi, I'm John Persinos, Editorial Director of Investing Daily. Welcome to my weekly Weed Report. Booze helped make the Kennedy family fortune. Marijuana can help make your family fortune. Allow me to explain. The Prohibition era lasted from 1920 through 1933. Americans kept drinking anyway, even more so because the ban gave alcohol an illicit glamour. Speakeasies flourished, so did the mob. Gangsters such as Al Capone became rich, supplying booze to the masses. It was Prohibition that gave the Italian mafia its first biggest break in the new country. Prohibition, aka the Volstead Act, of course was doomed, which is usually the case when the government tries to legislate morality and ordinary citizens thumb their noses at the law. During Prohibition, the term scofflaw was invented. It means a person who contemptuously scoffs at the law. As the Great Depression got underway and the economy collapsed, anti-prohibition activists succeeded in winning over even teetotalers to their cause, arguing that the country needed the jobs and tax revenue of legalized alcohol. Sound familiar? The Democratic Party gained power in 1932, and Prohibition ended in 1933. Immediately after Prohibition ended, the sales and stock prices of major distilleries at home and abroad soared. Let's examine a case study that's instructive for marijuana investors. By the early 1930s, Joseph P. Kennedy Sr., patriarch of the Kennedy political dynasty, had already made a fortune in Hollywood and Wall Street. Now, like a lot of today's marijuana entrepreneurs, he wanted to make a killing on the illicit substance that many enjoyed but which remained illegal, booze. Ever the shrewd wheeler-dealer, Joseph Kennedy saw the handwriting on the wall about the future financial prospects of booze. There are those who contend Kennedy was a bootlegger during Prohibition. This is an urban myth. Kennedy was neither a bootlegger nor a smuggler. The truth is much more complex. Kennedy knew that the incoming Roosevelt administration was wet and would honor its campaign pledge to repeal Prohibition. In October 1933, 2 months before Prohibition ended, Kennedy secured a franchise with a foreign company to sell booze to a thirsty post-Prohibition America. Through his contacts with the British and U.S. governments, Kennedy won an exclusive contract with British-based National Distillers Products Corporation to sell Scotch, whiskey, gin, and other spirits to Americans. Booze was legal in Britain. In December 1933, the 21st Amendment was ratified, which repealed the 18th Amendment of January 1919, ending the deeply unpopular nationwide prohibition of alcohol. By the end of 1934, National Distillers announced that its net profits had quadrupled in a year, largely due to exports to America. The public company's shares soared in value as well. Other distillers in business at the time reported similar spikes in sales and stock prices after Prohibition ended. Joe Kennedy sold his National Distillers franchise in 1946 when his son John was about to enter politics. Kennedy Sr. earned $8.5 million from the sale, equivalent to $122 million in 2023 currency. Let that sink in for a minute. In 1938, President Roosevelt appointed the rich and powerful Joseph P. Kennedy as ambassador to the United Kingdom. Fast forward to the present day and the most recently available polling data. Americans overwhelmingly say marijuana should be legal for recreational and medical use. Marijuana prohibition goes against the will of the people, just as alcohol prohibition did. And yet marijuana remains illegal on the federal level. However, as allowed under our federalist system, the states have stepped in. As it stands now, in late 2023, 38 states and the District of Columbia allow the medical use of cannabis products. Adult, i.e. recreational use, is allowed in 23 states and D.C. See the chart, which contains the latest data. Meanwhile, several pieces of legislation are pending in Congress to legalize marijuana on the federal level. You see where I'm going with all of this. In the pivotal election year of 2024, I see parallels with 1932. Instead of alcohol, the substance in question is marijuana. The parallel is even stronger when you consider the jobs and tax revenue at stake with cannabis. Legal marijuana is a jobs-generating machine in both the recreational and medical sectors. Further proof that the industry and its publicly traded companies have staying power. The marijuana stock slump this year has been painful, but those new marijuana-related jobs, they won't suddenly disappear. At the same time, state and local politicians, they're getting addicted to the revenue from marijuana taxes. Mary Jane is employing Americans in balancing state government ledgers. It's only a matter of time before marijuana prohibition is removed, not just by the states, but also by the federal government. As an investor, the time to act is now, before marijuana prohibition is thoroughly repealed. I also urge you to buy my new book, The Wide World of Weed and Psychedelics. Order your copy by visiting the URL that you see right now on your screen. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.